Hello everyone and welcome back to Sports Today, the breaking news update for you from the T20 World Cup. And Sri Lanka have just registered a pretty convincing win against Afghanistan. Now, the key thing that we should go over here first is, of course, how did the match play out? And Sri Lanka, pretty easy match. It wasn't one where they were overtly troubled for the most part. They were chasing the match, and they were only chasing 145 was the target that was in fact put in place for them after Afghanistan won the toss and opted to bat first. So Afghanistan won the toss, opted to bat. Unfortunately, couldn't really put up an extremely competitive total. They were, they only managed 144 for 8 in their 20 overs. And I mean, if you just look at their batting highlights, it really sums it up. The highest scorer was Ramanullah Gurbaz, who got 28. Otherwise, you had Usman Ghani, who got 27. But otherwise, again, no one really managed to get that one big score that could have pushed them to maybe getting a 180, make the match competitive. Nothing of that sort, which of course suited Sri Lanka well. But unfortunately for the Lankans, they actually needed a big win in this particular match. And when I say big win, I mean they needed to chase down the score, quickly as well. So I don't think that this match will actually have that much of an impact on their net run rate. So as of now, by the way, Sri Lanka will be on 4 points, which means that at least for the time being, they will be third on the table, which means that mathematically speaking, they still have some chance. But again, that net run rate of theirs before this particular match was only at about minus 8.0 something. Let me just check quickly and tell you what exactly it was, but it wasn't great, is my point. So yeah, here it is. They are now minus 0.457 with their net run rate, and they're third with 4 points. So Sri Lanka do still technically have a chance, but again, they would be reliant on a lot of results going their way if it has to happen. Because remember, Sri Lanka have played 4 matches, then they have one more match left, and that one match which they have left is against England, who themselves would be looking for sealing their qualification in that last match. Because again, if you remember, England have 3 matches that they've played. They will be playing New Zealand later on today. So if England can win that match, then suddenly the England Sri Lanka match becomes almost a shootout of sorts for that spot. So Sri Lanka, again, this was probably their best chance to get a big win, because again, Afghanistan, you're known for a fact they've struggled through the tournament. Yes, they got 2 points, but both those came from washouts. So as things stand, Afghanistan, of course, they have 2 points, but both their major matches that they've actually managed to play, they've ended up on the losing side of. They lost by 5 wickets to England, they've lost by 6 wickets to Sri Lanka, and their last match means is against Australia. Means it's actually pretty unlikely that they will actually be getting a win before this World Cup ends. Pretty poor showing from their part, but they were also placed in a very, very tough group. So you can't entirely fault them. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, to be fair, they needed a win in this particular match, and they ended up getting just that. It was a pretty easy win, as I said, because once you've restricted the opposition to 144 in their 20 overs, you're never really going to be in that much trouble. But the problem for them was that they couldn't chase it down, in as quick time as they would have probably hoped. Because what happened was that their net run rate needed a boost, so they had to chase it down quickly. Unfortunately, you see their bigger hitters. Pathum Nissanka only made a run about 10. Kusal Mendes made 25 of 27 balls. The only really good knock which was there was from Dhananjaya De Silva, who was not out 66 of 42 balls, strike rate of 157, easily the best batsman on the day from either of the teams. Bhanuka Rajapaksa had a decent show as well. In fact, I think his over, that over where he took on Gulbuddin Naib, was actually really, really good. He got 3 boundaries of Naib, but he couldn't quite kick on from there. Not that it really mattered much. In the end, Sri Lanka won the match. But as I said, so I saw a comment here from Akash Bhardwaj. He's saying, so there is a chance that SL can eliminate England. Yes, I mean there is a chance if you have to go by that, but they'll have to hope that England lose to New Zealand, or if England do in fact beat New Zealand, then they'll have to beat England. So it's a very complicated situation. Again, I think this particular group has been hampered by rain more than, in fact, the other one. So you remember, Afghanistan themselves have 2 points only because 2 of their matches were washed out. They've not won a single game. So unfortunately, this win doesn't really do a lot for them. Yes, it keeps them at 3rd place. But again, if England win this match, if they win their match against New Zealand and then beat Sri Lanka, then Sri Lanka out. It's that simple. Because England actually have that advantage of they'll be 1 point ahead if they can win their match today. But again, we don't really know how that's going to play out, so stay tuned. We're going to be watching these matches for sure, and of course we'll bring you the latest updates from that match as well as other stuff. Remember, there's a lot of build up going on for the India-Bangladesh match, which is going to be tomorrow. Key match for both sides, particularly for India, who lost against South Africa. They want to win and get back to winning ways, potentially maybe take one step closer to the semis. We'll stay tuned with us for all of that, of course, but thank you all so much for joining us here. Again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, tap the bell icon so you know when we're going live. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Last but not least, do download the AajTak app to get the best updates, the fastest updates from the T20 World Cup. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned with us through the day. For now, bye bye.